What's good, everyone? It's Nate C, the Chief, and I'm here to talk to you about a product that I've been using for the past few months. It is the U45 in-ear monitor wireless system from Xvive. This wireless system uses 5.8 gigahertz. With a solid RF connection, they claim over 100 feet of range, up to 110 dB signal to noise ratio, high resolution 24-bit 48 kilohertz audio. This has a mono balanced XLR input as well as a mono unbalanced TS input, and we'll talk about why that is important. The real important thing, less than 5 milliseconds of latency as well as 5 hours of battery life. All right, so the receiver here, all right, it's got the on-off switch up top. All right, I got it on channel 1 because that's also what I have my transmitter on. Channel 1, this is the volume right here. This light isn't showing because I don't have the transmitter on, so let's turn that on. Turn that on. Boom, boom. Oh, we are connected. I plug my headphones into this right here, and this just goes in my pocket. It's got this clip on there to where you can hook it on your belt loop your belt if you want to. I don't do that because I don't know. I feel like it sticks out far and bump on the back of my shirts. Because I wear my shirts untucked most of the time. So yeah, I just throw it in there. Boom. And since I'm DJing and I have control over the volume of how loud I want my headphones to be, I typically turn this all the way up. I turn this all the way up. And then, when I'm plugging stuff in, when I'm making all these connections, I don't have my in-ears in because if something's live, it's going to pop in my ear, and you don't want that. So, but that's how I have it run. So let's talk about range real quick. So I didn't do a real range test with this. Actually, I take that back. I play at a hotel lounge often, right? And so you would imagine that there's a lot of wireless bands in there, a lot of 2.4s, probably some 5Gs, or I'm not even sure that's the right terminology, but there's a lot of wireless bands in there. And I remember one day I left the decks where I was playing, went to go use the restroom, which is around the corner and behind 2 walls. And I left the earphones in just to see if I can hear the music that I was playing while I was in the restroom. And I could. I was like, oh, wow. It was a Friday, a little slower. Okay. And I was like, wow, I can still hear the music in my headphones because, this was here at the decks, and I had this in my back pocket, and I was just walking around. I still had my monitors in. About a month later, it was a Saturday, a lot busier, and as soon as I rounded that corner to go towards the restroom, it started popping in my ears. It's because it started going out. And I was like, oh, and it was a little uncomfortable pop too, And so I was like, oh, I need to take these out. So definitely how many bodies, how many, wireless signals you got going on will play a part as well as range and barriers between clear line of sight, blah, 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 will play a part in how far you can get from where the transmitter is and where the receiver is. But being a DJ, I don't really, it's most important when I'm right here next to it. So now when I have these in, if I know I'm going to be walking away, going to the restroom, going to do anything, I take my in-ears out. And then when I come back, put them back in. And it's not like we lose connection or anything. It's, right back to mixing. Being that the latency is 5 milliseconds, I personally don't notice that. I'm able to drop in on time. I'm able to scratch. I'm able to mix, beat match, and do everything I need to do as a DJ on time, no latency that I can notice with my human ear. Now let's talk about this mono XLR and mono unbalanced TS connection. This right here does not work in my workflow. Okay, it sticks out too far. As soon as I tried this at a gig, I just knew that something bad was going to happen. So I had to not use this at a gig the first time I took it out because I was like, all right, we got to find a different solution. Then I went on Amazon and found this thing. This is a 3.5 millimeter to XLR. In theory, this works. A couple things to be said about this. If you are a user of split Q, this is not going to work for you. This product, I have not gotten it to work using split Q. Now, some of you are like, what is split cue? What is that? That's when in your headphones, when you cue music, the master cue is going to be in one ear, and each channel that you cue for the next, each channel that you cue is going to be in the other ear. So if you're not cueing a channel, there's going to be silence. But as long as you're cueing the master, what's coming out of the speakers, that's going to be in one ear, and the songs that the other channels that you queue up are going to be in the other ear. Now, I might not have this totally correct, but the way I understand it, being that this is a mono output, they can't split it up left and right. So if you use split cue in your DJ workflow, this is probably not going to work for you. Also, this controller is one of the, there's levels, and this is one of the ones that's at the top. All right, this is the XDJ AZ. Plug this in, I'm good with it. There's a place I play often where there is a 900 Nexus 2. Plug right in, good to go. I have a 9 here that I play on, good to go. When I played on one of my homies' Rev 7, I plugged it in and it didn't work. It was like everything was hooked up right, and then I plugged it in and I got nothing. Same thing happened when I played. I had a gig where I had limited space and I had to bring my FLX4, my Flex 4. It's not even, which is the very small controller. It's not here, but it's a very small controller. Fits in your backpack. It doesn't even need a power supply. You just need to, you can plug it into your computer and be good as long as your computer is plugged in. So it's entry level controller. But I noticed that with this connection, if I have to pull it out to a certain space, I guess, to get these to line up correctly on different types of gear. So on the Rev 7, I had to pull it out a little bit to like right there to get it to work. Same thing with the Flex 4. Same thing with my DDJ 1000 SRT. You gotta find that sweet spot that lines up with these grooves on a 3.5, and then after you find it, leave it. Don't touch it. All right. So a lot of fiddling around to try to get this thing to work the way that I need it to work. Just to get an acceptable amount of sound out of this. While I'm here testing things, let's test this. All right. That should make things a little bit better. Okay. All right. So there it is. So this is just the master. And this is the cue. All right. So I set my headphone settings on this. Not every controller has a headphone setting to go from stereo to split cue, but this one does. So I went to stereo on this, and this works well. But also, this is just in the way. I can't do this. I've seen some people put a right angle 1/4 inch on here to where it just kind of hangs down right here. I like this way better. I like this way better. I plug it in and I put this just out of sight. Out of sight, can't bump into it at all. All right. Now, I've kind of picked this thing apart a little bit. And I guess the question is, do I recommend it? And I will say, I would recommend you try it. I would recommend you try it. All right. And see if it works for you. This didn't work for me right out of the box. The way it stuck out too far, it just didn't work for me. So I had to add something to it to get it to work. There was a time when I did use split cue. I don't use split cue anymore. But if this would have landed in my lap when I used split cue, I would have said no way. But with that being said, if you're to see me out in the wild, this is definitely in my bag, and there's a good chance that I'm using it. I've used this at every gig that I've had it charged for. I don't necessarily make this a priority to charge because I'm so used to just plugging straight in. But when I have this and I know that it'll last me all night, I will definitely plug this up and use it. I work in so many different environments. Sometimes I'm inches away from the board. Sometimes I need to get out from the board, go out to the middle of the court and talk, go out to the middle of the field and talk. And so having this in my back pocket, knowing that when I need to get back to the decks and mix and not really worry about where my headphones at, and just having freedom while I'm mixing, because I move a lot. when I play. I move a lot. I dance a lot. I like the music that I play. So naturally, I dance a little bit when I'm playing. So, and this makes things a lot easier. This makes it easier to dance. Well, that's my take on the U45 wireless in-ear monitor system from Xvive. It's in my bag. It's in my bag. It's got a place in my bag. This is the pouch. I need to go ahead and put it back in here, honestly, because I got a gig tonight. It's Friday. And I need to go ahead and put it back in here to make sure I don't leave it at home, because I'm going to use it tonight. All right. Like I said, do I recommend it? I don't need this. Do I recommend it? I think that if you want to try it, I recommend trying it before you go all in on it. All right. And figuring out what works in your workflow. But like I said, for me, it's charged up tonight and it's going to get used. Stays in my bag. So that's what I think. Thank you, Xvive, for sending this. I've enjoyed having this product. So do what you will with that information. You heard? Nate C. the Chief. Give me a subscribe, like, comment if you have any questions, and I'll get back with you. See y'all next time. You heard? Peace.